right? Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rechah HaKodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Barak Atham. It's the brother Kazak coming back at it again. You know what I'm saying? Coming in, week out, prophesying the downfall of Esau's kingdom. All right? So I'm going to be pushing on my own now. You know, just leave it at that. All right? We going to be in the spirit of prophecy. Okay? Let's focus on that, man. All right? Because that's another thing, too. You know, we're not going to be over here holding grudges or nothing like that. You know, we got a mission to do. All right? So let's go to the book of Revelations, chapter 19, verse 20. It's like verse 10. And it reads, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren, and I have the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh." All right, and Yahweh is the real name, the true name of the Heavenly Father in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay, and I said Yahweh Shai. For those that's new brothers or somebody that's not familiar with it, barely stumbling in. That's the name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, his only begotten Son. Those are the real Hebrew names, okay? Those are the true Hebrew names, all right? Continuing on, and it reads, all right, the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, okay? And that's the spirit that we ought to be in. That's what we are sent here to do, all right? To let our light shine and prophesy and proclaim, New Jerusalem coming back and proclaim the downfall of Esau, Edom, man. All right, and I see a lot of these people driving by. They of the heathens, man. Okay, they're the heathens, man. All right, and ultimately they look upon us with disdain, because we represent their downfall. Okay, we represent their downfall. They see us and they see the true prophets of doom. It's crazy because Esau got some little show in the History Channel, where he has these little these different people that existed, in recent times, and because they had certain visions or whatnot, that they are prophets. No, the real prophets are right here, man. Because at the end of the day, all what they're doing is reciting what's coming out of this book, man. All right, and everything that's coming out of this book is coming to pass. It's manifesting itself in full fruition, and it's going beautifully, man. Kal Halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. We are living in this time. We are living in a time when our punishment has been accomplished. All right. That brings me to the book of Lamentations, chapter 4. Okay, it's one of my favorite precepts, man. All right, because we've been downtrodden. So-called blacks, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, we have been downtrodden, man. All right, you got the Israelite foreigners all across the world. Guess what? They're in the curses too, man. All right, just because a brother don't look like you, don't mean he's not a brother, man. All right, that's another thing too. Okay, we push that the Israelite foreigners. That's a very important thing. All right, so continuing on. All right, Lamentations chapter 4, verse 21, and it reads, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee." All right, and Edom is the true biblical nationality. That's the true identity of the so-called white man. All right, they are the nation of Edom. All right, they are referred to as Edomites. Their forefather is Esau. Okay, and our forefather is Jacob. And Jacob had 12 sons, and they are known today as the children of Israel. All right, and we had the same, forefathers, all right, Abraham and Isaac. But guess what? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai was not dealing with Esau. And that's what led with the situation with the birthright. Until this day, he has a grudge on us, man. Till this day, he seeks to revenge himself. Till this day, he oppresses us in every single way. He wages war against us in every single way, man. Every single way. All right? From physical to the spiritual. All right? And he had us, and it's bad enough, he had us in hardcore slavery, man. He had us in hardcore slavery. Hardcore genocide, man. All right? Our people being marginalized, our people being took to the plantations, dealing with the Southern Kingdom and the Latin tribes too, and the Latin tribes. All right, and then you have the tribe of Gad, so-called Native Americans, marginalized, man, living in some reservations in the middle of nowhere when they used to have the fatness of these lands, you know. But that's what this devil, he has a lot to pay for, and he's gonna be rewarded double, man. All right, as we read right here, it reads, "That dwellest in the land of Uz, the cup also shall pass through unto thee." All right, and that cup is that same cup that we had to drink. All right, when we went down as a nation. Okay, and guess what? That was prophesied too. All right, in the time of Moses, we was barely getting out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Generations later, it happened. All right. Generations later, it happened. We were taken down. We went down under first it was the northern kingdom, under the Assyrians. All right. Then it was the southern kingdom of Israel under the Babylonians. Okay. And then the northern tribes ended up on this side of the world. All right. And Judah didn't come until until the latter. I wouldn't say the latter times, but until later on during the transatlantic slave trade. All right. Continuing on though, I not to be not to go on the tangent. Reads, "The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked," meaning exposed, man. This devil has been exposed. Everything that he has done, he's been exposed, man. All these agendas that he has in place. Rex 84, Agenda 21. All right, Blue Beam. What's it called? Project Blue Beam. With them trying to recreate what's it called? Them trying to recreate alien invasion. All that has been exposed, man. All right, and guess what? All these agendas he's coming through with is his downfall. Okay, and it reads, "And thou shalt make thyself naked." All right, so real quick, we're gonna get to the book of Psalms, chapter 9. All right, and it reads, all right, the book of Psalms, chapter 9, verse 15. "The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken." All right, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Meaning all these agendas that they're coming through, all right, them executing their NWO, all right, which is the New World Order. They trying to, what they trying to do is basically, recycle their dominion. All right, here it is. They've been ruling here as the U.S. Which we call it code word Babylon. All right, they got their system in place out there in Europe. The EU. All right, and they hand join in hand. NATO, the EU, they represent the war and the beast. All right, the seven-headed dragon. That's what that represents. All right, so they had that system in place. But what this devil's trying to do now is he's trying to recycle that. And what he's gonna do, all right, in order to do that, is he's gonna bring about the collapse of this society, of this kingdom, all right, and come back as the phoenix from the ashes and go into his new world order. Okay, but it's these same agendas, it's these same moves that he is making that's gonna be his downfall. See, he's literally just killing himself. He's basically doing half the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because why? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, he controls both the angels and sorry, not the angels, but he controls both the right hand side and the left hand side. Nothing is outside of his power, man. All right. Continuing on in the deeds, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Okay, so that's basically what is playing out. All right, so let me go back to Lamentations chapter 4, which leads to the original point. All right, our time, with this devil, basically, wiping out his own kingdom. The Lord's gonna intervene as he's trying to come up from the ashes and put his ass in slavery, man. All right, why? Because it is our punishment has been accomplished. All right, is being accomplished. We're still here in this kingdom. We're still in Babylon. We still have to go, through these major prophecies that's coming to pass. But guess what? They're manifesting itself. All right, the end of this man is manifesting itself. Okay, yeah, these heathens, they want to stare. They want to be astonished. Yeah, you got Esau. That was probably a group. But it is what it is, man. That's what it is to make your body a living sacrifice. And it's not to boast on that, to say it in humility, but this ain't a light thing. Okay? Continuing on, and it reads, verse 22. "And the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion." All right? So it has been accomplished. Okay, and that's basically our punishment. That's the prophecies that we had to go through, written in the book of Deuteronomy 28. All right, how we were gonna fall. Okay, and we're gonna get to that in a bit. All right, it reads, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, and he will no more carry thee away into captivity, and he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and he will discover thy sins. All right, so he will no more carry thee away into captivity. And why is that? Because we're not going to be going off no more. All right, and let's go into the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right, and then you got the judgment, the hot seat, if you will, being shifted from Jacob. All right, because we are in the hot seat. Okay, we were in the hot seat for the past 400 500 years, man. We were in the hot seat. Even before that, if you take it to the account, with these devils, arriving in the east, the East Indies, arriving where Ephraim dwells, man. All right, so even before that, we was being persecuted, man. We was being destroyed, okay, genocided. All right, then Judah was, he came in through the transatlantic slave trade, and then the curses were augmented to the full capacity. All right, so we're gonna go the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, and it reads, "But it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." All right, and that's the reason why, we went into captivity. Okay, that's the reason why the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are in the hoods, are in the barrios, and the reds, which is short for reservation. You know what I'm saying? That's Gad's tongue right there. That's what they call it. Going back to it, and it reads that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee, and these curses are basically our punishment. Okay, these curses go with us going into captivity. All right, being made the tail. All these things happen. Here it is. We were on top at a point. After King David, passed, went away into the spiritual world. All right, and then it was King Solomon's time to rule, and he was ruling in righteousness for 40 years. But we were on top, man. As it was written, you had men of other nations that came, and they thought the doorman, the butler, the man who tends to the door and receives people, they thought he was the king. That's how much of a high level we were. That's how we were living. Okay, and we fell from that. All right, we fell from that. King Solomon, he went off. He went off into idolatry. All right, and then the Lord rent the kingdom, and from there it was just a downward spiral into what we're living out now. All right, is the punishment of our iniquities, man. Okay, the Lord turned his face away from Zion. All right, continuing on in the book of let me see, book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm gonna start at verse 45, and it reads, "Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed." Now, mind you, this was written in the time of Moses. All right, this was during the time of Moses. It wasn't until hundreds of years later that these curses started to play out, and really, it wasn't until what I'm saying. It wasn't until these recent times, these recent centuries, when these curses really came in full effect, man. All right, it says, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearken not unto the voice of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, that power to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded this day. All right, so which he commanded thee. Okay, and again, that comes, the same theme. We went off into idolatry. We started doing iniquities. We started doing wickedness. All right, and guess what? The Lord brought about us these curses. The Lord brought upon us these judgments, and this is the day that the heathen look for. All right, and I'm looking at it, seeing the people, what I'm saying, pass by. They looking at me narrowly, man. All right, because guess what? This represents their downfall. All right, us standing here in the street corners and waking up to our true nationality is their downfall. That is basically a sneak preview of what is to come, which is New Jerusalem coming down and these nations being put in shackles and chains, man. All right, so continuing on, reads, because thou hearken not unto the voice of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And these commandments are righteous, man. They're perfect. All right, it's understanding, as to why you got to be brotherly to your brother. It's understanding as to why you got to, reverence and worship Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, with all your heart, because he created everything, including you. And he set you to be above all these people that are upon the face of the earth, man. All right? And Israel's backbiting, stiff-necked, they want to go off into spiritual fornication and build themselves up these different idols, man. Want to worship the sun. All right? Want to worship sweet Caesar, Caesar Borgia, that idol. All right? You got the Latin tribes, they got, a whole bunch of different idols that they just prop up and worship, man. And all them idols is connected to a witchcraft, man. All them idols is connected to the left-hand side. All right? Continuing on, and it reads, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Okay? And that's, what I'm saying, what has been made manifest. All right? The Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, we are a cursed people. All right? We are a cursed people. They look at us and they narrowly look upon us, man. All right? They see, that we're not in power. They have no respect for us. They have no, reverence towards us. None of that, man. All right, when really these nations should be bowed down. They should be treating us with humility. Instead, it's hurry up and buy. Instead, you get followed in the store. Instead they looking at you like, yeah, you're all y'all women is nothing but harlots, man. Hey, so-called Latinos, man. You know what I'm saying? You can meet a person of another nation. You tell them your nationality. You could be Mexican. You could be, from wherever. And they'll always have a story to tell about the time they met this little Puerto Rican chick, this little Mexican chick. How they freaked off on her. Because why our women basically are a spiritual representation of us. Our people being tossed to and fro with each manner of doctrine. Guess what? Our women is tossed to and fro with each manner of men. They represent our, heart, us playing spiritual harlot as a nation. But the elect is waking up out of that. All right, Salakia, not to go, off the point. The spirit is like the wind, man. So verse 47, because thou serve not Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Here it is, if we serve the Lord, he'd give us everything. He would give us everything. We'd have the whole world in our hands, right? That was, ultimately what was written, but guess what? Our people chose not to do that. All right, and Deuteronomy, verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, meaning it's a prophecy, that this day is coming where we're going to turn away from the Lord, and in return, and as a result, he's going to punish us. All right, so coming back at it again, all right, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron around thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. All right, and that's, what took place, man. Both the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. All right, or should I say the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom? Because that's one of the things, they don't really teach that in school, man. All right, they don't teach that in school. How the Latin tribes, were put in slavery and bondage as well. They just teach genocide and that's it. Here it is, my people, my father, for example, he got stories of in South America, they said that the indigenous people there, all right, they used to be in hella straits, in hella captivity for generations under the Spaniards, man. All right, they said the reason why, they short right now, as far as the indigenous people, reason why they short out there in South America is because they gave them nothing but coca plants, and generation after generation of hardcore captivity, and that malnutrition, they decreased in stature. All right, they decreased in stature, man. Okay, and that's just further proof of the destruction. Now Esau want to say, oh, that's because they lived in the mountains and the evolution, they had to be shorter in order to be able to travail the mountains. That's BS, man. All right, it was said that the Incas' average height was 6 feet and above, man. 6 feet, 7 feet. It's all mighty people, man. And it's not just the Incas, which the tribe of Asher. It's all the tribes out here in America that was out here, man. All right. this devil tried to put a covering cast over his destruction. He couldn't hide what he did with Judah, because we in the country, we're in Babylon. You can't hide the history, and I'm pretty sure, if he tried to, the Lord would jack his ass up. You know what I'm saying? But hey, well, he's trying to do that now. You know what I'm saying? But hey, here we are until this day in our captivity, man. So verse 49, and it reads, and Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flyeth. All right, that's what took place during the rise of this devil during the time of the Renaissance. Because you have the Renaissance that came, and then shortly after, it was American colonization. All right, the American so-called colonization. It was really, the American genocide and theft, man. That's what went down. All right, and that's the manifestation of this scripture. Okay, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right, because us here, you know what I'm saying? The Latin tribes, they were speaking a dialect of Hebrew. In the west coast of Africa, they were speaking a dialect of Hebrew. All right. Until this day, they do, man. Until this day, you go there and you see certain customs that go back to the scriptures. All right. Continuing on, and it reads, all right, and a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance. All right, and why it says it's a fierce countenance, because in the previous verse, as swift as the eagle flieth, all right, that is a key indicator of who is coming to destroy us. All right, who Yahweh sent to destroy us, which is Esau, Edom. And let's stop here. All right, and let's go to the book of Obadiah. Get that precept right quick. You see, the book of Obadiah, chapter, and that's Zechariah. All right, just give me a second to look for it. It's on one page, man. There it is. All right, so book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and 4. And it reads, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So as you exalt yourself as the eagle, and what was it said in the book of Deuteronomy 28, as swift as the eagle flies, because that's Esau, Edom, man. That's the so-called white man. And this book here is mainly referring towards the so-called white men. All right, that's why, in the first verse, I'm going to read it, just to prove it. The vision of Obadiah, thus said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai concerning Edom. All right, so Edom, the so-called white man, the Edomites, according to the Bible, what do? They have exalted themselves as the eagle. And that is the national symbol of a lot of these Edomite nations, man. They always used eagles in their symbol, even back to the Romans, man. Every army that the Romans had, which they were called legions, every legion that marched, all right, in the heart of that legion, well, in the midst of their most elite troops, was a standard carrier, all right, and on that standard was a golden eagle. This is the people who the scriptures is talking about, all right, and how did they increase themselves? How did they take over? Through their sword, all right, through their sword. That's why it reads in the book of Genesis. Let me see. Book of Genesis, chapter 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Abrahamic covenant concerning the stolen blessing. Oh, so like it was 27. All right, now let me make sure my scripts is not folded up out here, man. All right, so we're gonna continue. We're just gonna get straight to the point on that. All right, so book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse. Let me see. 27, verse 40. All right. Well, actually, I'm going to start at verse 39. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling. All right. That him is referring to Esau. All right. Because if you go into the story, go into the account, this is right when Jacob just got, supplanted, and he, basically stole Esau's blessing, which really, it was played out to be like that, man. All right. That's how the spirit of Yahweh Shai had it play out, man. Okay, and really, that blessing had no, business going towards Esau. All right, because Esau sold his birthright. So with that birthright is included with that blessing. Okay. See, he try to slither his way, back into what he thinks was his, but it was really ours, man. He gave us that blessing with the birthright, man. The blessing comes with the birthright because he is the firstborn, and he gave that firstborn birthright unto Jacob for a morsel of meat. You know, as our history goes. All right, so going back to Genesis 27, and it reads, and said, and behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Okay, and hey, he is living in the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. You go to certain places where it's beautiful views and you see nothing but mansions. Who's mainly living there, man? Esau, Edom. All right, and these other nations as well. There's primarily these Edomites that live there, man. Who got all the world banks? Who got all the central banks? Who controls the economy? These devils do, man. Okay, and how did they get that? All right, how did they get that, man? Hey, Shalom, Makia, Yahaba Shimel Shai Barakatah. All right, but how did they get that, man? It was through their sword. Okay, so we're gonna tie this back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Going into the downfall of these devils, because we went down as a people, and that was prophesied. All right, in our glory, being the one that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai loves, we went down as a people. But guess what? These devils being the ones that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai hates, oh, they definitely going down. Okay, so let's continue on. All right, and it reads, and by thy sword shalt thou live and serve. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Okay, and that's what I said earlier. With the Romans, the way they took everything over. All right, even now to the modern times, the way they took these areas over, it was by their sword, man. They had the weapons. All right, and it reads, and it shall come to pass, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay, and that's what happened, when these devils rose up against us, man. All right, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, and if a brother, more knowledgeable, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was a time of King David, after they, put these devils in subjugation, and then it was when King Solomon, went off, that these devils came back with a vengeance, around that time. All right, but Lord willing, I'm correct on that. All right, but anyways, going back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. All right, let me see. All right, Yahweh Shimel Shah shall bring a nation, verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Okay, so, back in Deuteronomy 28 and 50, these were the people that came and dealt with us, man. And it was Yahweh Shimel Yahushai who sent them, okay, as the punishment for our iniquity, as it is written in the book of, let me see, it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 17. Let me just get it right quick. All right, so the book of Psalms, chapter 17, verse 13. Arise, O Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and disappoint him, and cast him down, and deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay? And the wicked is the sword of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. He was the whipping stick that the Lord came and dealt with us with. The Lord spanked us through Esau, Edom. All right, and why? Because he's all powerful, man. He is all powerful, and ultimately it was prophesied. It was his will. Okay. So let's go back at it again. Deuteronomy chapter Deuteronomy. Continuing on with Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right, and it reads, "A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor unto the young." All right, this devil was working Judah, so-called black people, man. This devil was working them in the fields till they dropped dead. Okay, this devil was taking the so-called Puerto Rican women and possibly other women of the Latin tribes as well. He was taking them, he was hanging them up. They were pregnant. He cut the babies out from the stomach, You know what I mean? And they would stomp out the babies, and they would let the woman bleed out, and they did that to save bullets. You know, and it's very frustrating. You know, Scripture says, "With much wisdom comes much grief," because you know this. You know, and you see how our women throw themselves at these devils. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. We gonna get them on the next side. You know, continuing on, and it reads, all right, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Okay, and that's what these devils did. All right, working Judah from all the way till he collapsed in the fields, man. Working Judah all the way till he collapsed in the fields. All right, and slaying out, you know, men, women, and children. Genocide with them, man. He did that with you so-called Native Americans too, man. All right, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Wounded Knee Massacre. I think that's what it's called. All right, but you have, you know, also the Trail of Tears. You know how it was documented that Esau would take the youngest of you so-called Native Americans. The true biblical nationality is Israel. You know, the tribe. But guess what? All this was prophesied. All right, it was foretold that it was going to happen. That these devils were going to come. They were going to slay us from the old all the way down to the young. All right, it was a punishment for our iniquity. Okay, let's see where we at in time. Doesn't necessarily say. Oh, okay, 31 minutes. Continue on, and it says, "A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of earth, nor show favor to the young, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep until he hath destroyed thee." Okay, and that's what he did. He took over our lands, he took over all the goods, and he fed us nothing but scraps. And that's why you have that soul food, man. You know, soul food is nothing but the leftovers of the different, you know, livestock that these devils had. All right, this is all prophesied, man. You know, and he shall eat what's like it, and continue on to verse 52. "And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, till thy high fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest. All right, throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, throughout all thy land, which Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has given thee." And that's what he has done. All right, from all the way from Israel. You know, we was in Jerusalem. How the Maccabees, you know, how when these devils, you know, they were the Greeks. You know, they were if I remember correctly, they were the Seleucid kingdom. One of the four rulers after Alexander the Great passed away. Okay, they came down and they besieged us, starved us out, man. That's what they did. All right, even in these latter times, you know, when we were in the west coast of Africa, you know, we was thriving over there. When we were over here in the Americas, we had fortresses over here. We had kingdoms over here. This devil wants to make it seem like we were some, you know, some savage beasts, you know, just swinging on trees and, you know, on some Tarzan shit. They based their constitution and their way of ruling out of the Iroquois Confederation. You know what I'm saying? But they want to call us savages after we taught them how to do a lot of things. You know. But anyways, continuing on, and it reads, "And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters." All right, that's going into the time, you know, when in the ancient times in Babylon, you know, hey, Jacob's going into cannibalism, man. All right, they're going into the cannibalism, man. It was crazy. All right, continuing on, and it reads, all right, "And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine body, of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh Hashem Yahushua thy power hath given thee in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee." Okay, and soon that's also going to happen as well, man. All right, real soon that's going to happen. With this martial law, all right, with the coming famine, you got hundreds of food plants being destroyed. Over 100 food plants have been destroyed this year. Why? Because they are about to bring about a famine on the people, man. They're about to bring about a famine on you people. These heathens gonna get hit with the famine too, man. It is they want to drive by all, pump all. Oh, look at that guy. He's a weird. Yeah, they're gonna be starving too, man. hey, these Jakes that's prospering in this society, they're gonna be starving too, man. Why? Because this is the downfall of this kingdom, and guess what? It's just a transition, all right, from the end of Esau Edom going down, the end of his rulership, his dominion, our punishment, and the beginning of his punishment and our dominion, our rulership, and it will be forever and ever. Okay. So continuing on, and it reads, "And thou shalt eat." Oh, sorry, I already read this part. Verse 54. All right. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his remnant of his children, which he shall leave. All right. Our people, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, are known for having the most single mamas. You know, single mothers, man. You know, and it's not to fault the woman, because it's something that you judge and balance. On one hand, you have men that don't want to, you know what I'm saying, don't want to take care of their kids, and on the other hand, you got these rebellious ass women that run the men out the relationship. They run the men out the house and hit them with child support. You know, and really, that's the main reason why they do that. You know, to hit them with that child support, man. All right. So continuing on, and it reads. Let me see. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate. All right, we're reading this verse because we're going to address the evil lie that Jake has for each other, man. It's nothing but divisions amongst our people. All right, divided by line, as it is written, man. Gang culture. All right, and Esau takes that and he perpetuates that in his media, man. Through the music, got Jake shooting each other up. That's the cool thing. Go to your brother and kill him. You know, go. You know what I'm saying? Inspire and aspire to be this fucking Frank Lucas Kingpin ass dude, Pablo Escobar, El Chapo looking ass dude. Sell poison to your own people. Anybody that gets into your way, just kill them. That's what's in our. That's what we see on TV, man. BMF, right? Power, right? You got the different TV shows in Issachar land. You know, El Chapo this, Narcos that. You know, they glorify and glamorize this, and they feed it to our people. All right, and we're gonna get a precept concerning that. You know, because that's another thing this devil will answer for as well. Oops, let's not tear out. Yeah, I got this little page. You know, it's trying to tear out. All right, leave that in there. I might have to just get another sword, man. You know. Well, let's go back into it. All right. Habakkuk, let me see. Salakia. It's in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. Okay. All right, so continuing on. All right, going into the next precept. All right, book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him. And that's what this devil has done with all these philosophies. He's given us that bottle, man. He's given us that death culture, man. That black, Latino, Native American, it's nothing but death culture, man. All right, and it's all the tribes, because I observe and I see all the tribes, and they're engulfed and submerged in it. Left hand, wicked vibrations, man. All right, but it is what it is, because at the end of the day, we're only pushing this word to bid the elect into the marriage. This thing is exclusive. It's not for all the whole nation of Israel. We would be here until Lord knows when. We would be here until Lord knows when, man. Dealing with nah. It'd be the fifth. Esau would live out his fantasy in the fifth element, pulling up to that fucking McDonald's, fucking 100 miles into the sky with a flying car, man. Hell no. All right. So continuing on, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse. Let me see. All right, verse 55. All right, continuing on. All right, so that he will not give to any of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left in him. It's like if nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. And that's something that came to pass. All right, let me see. I don't waste time, because I don't know exactly where that account is in the book of Lamentations. All right, yeah. See, it doesn't necessarily give, the time, the lamentation. It's like the time when, uh, yeah, it doesn't say, but I believe it's either in the book of Lamentations or Jeremiah, if I remember correctly, where it goes into the account, and how, the parents actually ate up their children, man. They ate up their babies. And it was in the siege, during the siege of Jerusalem, under these Babylonians, or carried or perpetuated by these Babylonians. All right, let me see. Yeah, see, that's I can't, find it, but we're not gonna waste time, trying to find it. Hey, man, iron sharpeneth iron. Coming back, I'm gonna definitely know that scripture, man. All right, bring it out to the spirit, but continuing on, and it reads, all right, verse 56. And the tender and delicate woman among you, which shall not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicacy and tenderness. All right, that used to be our women. Okay, guess what? Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. All right, our women are referred to, as it is written, our women are referred to as ostriches, man, because an ostrich will run through their eggs, they'll run through their seed, they'll stampede their seed in order to get away from a predator. They have no care, no consideration for their offspring, and our women are compared to as such, man. If you look at the if you look at their actions, it's been cases where, Eve had, their child has died because the bitch neglected them because she wanted to go out to the club, man. Too much partying, too much partying. She just leave the kid in the cradle or the crib, unattended for, and then the baby dies. You know, hey, they in order to live out, their lifestyles and live out their aspirations, they'll go into one of these abortion clinics and get the baby aborted out. That's the scripture being made manifest. All right, that's these prophecies being made manifest. How we went down. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, all right, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them. All right, hey, like I said, they were eating on their kids during the time of during the siege of Jerusalem, which was perpetuated by Babylon. And guess what? All that is going to return, and it's going to happen again, man. It is going to happen again. All right. Continuing on, and it reads, "For all things secretly, for one of all things secretly in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. And if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, thy power, okay, then Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness and long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee." All right. Hey, you got all manner of STDs, but that's another thing too. Deuteronomy 28 goes into that. STDs and things of that nature. Coming to pass. Hey, the Lord is bringing real plagues out here, man. You got the monkeypox. They got an outbreak of that in Los Angeles. I believe it was because of this one event that took place. Whatever it was. They got monkeypox, man. Hey, that might bring about the next quarantine. The next lockdown. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, and also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Yahweh Hashem Yahushua bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. All these plagues, hey, STDs, plagues that Edom is releasing out into the world, man. This devil does that. You got the CDC, Center of Disease Control. That shit is not, well, okay, it is to control diseases, but it's not to stop them. It's literally to control them and have dominion over them. And he could use that as a weapon. Because here it is. That's his blessing. You got something called biological warfare, where these devils go and they release plagues out there, and the people catch them. They did that with the so-called Latinos and the so-called Native Americans, man. This devil gave them blankets of smallpox unto you so-called Gadites, all right? And he wiped out, and he did the same with the Latin tribes in Central and Latin America. Okay, that's why I remember correctly. I remember this really stuck with me. When Esau adopted that strategy of using blankets with smallpox, it was written in this one of these textbooks that he adopted that strategy from the Spaniards to according to what they were doing to the so-called Latinos, man. I can't exactly quote what book it is, but I remember specifically that's what it said, man. So continuing on, and that's this prophecy being made manifest. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, and ye shall be left few in numbers, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou would not obey the voice of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, and that goes into all the death that happened upon our people. All right, all that genocide that happened upon our people. And guess what? Even till this day, what they call the minorities, man. Which in these modern times, as the times is unfolding, here in Babylon, our people are quickly becoming the majority. Because why? We're fruitful. We multiply, and we pop babies like crazy, man. We're a baby factory. Israel is, and that was one of our blessings, man. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, in verse 63. All right, and it shall come to pass that as Yahweh. Oh, and before I get into the scripture, Jacob's having all these, babies and things like that, But guess what, JT, man, hey, man, it's gonna get cut off, man. It's gonna get cut off, and all these, Jakes in the world that's making their babies and they in whatever philosophy they in, they got 8, 10 kids. Hey, if they're not of the 1/3 remnant, man, they're gonna be destroyed, man. And this scripture is gonna play out in Jacob's trouble as well. All right, which we're gonna bring that out. All right, and it reads, and it shall come to pass that as Yahweh Hashem Yahushua rejoice over you to do good and to multiply you, so Yahweh Hashem Yahushua will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And he shall be plucked off, so like it shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. Okay, hey, we don't own anything, man. We got no ownership. You can buy a house. Hey, Esau find a loophole to take that shit from you, man. All right. Verse 64. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushua shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, all right, which are idols. And neither thou nor thy fathers have known, it's like a witch, neither now nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And that's what happened in the time of the diaspora. All right, in the time of 70 AD, when the Romans really, really cracked down on Jerusalem. It was doing so much slaughter. You had a remnant of Jakes that fled, I believe before it even happened, because they took heed unto Yahushua, what they were saying. They fled. All right, they fled before that happened. Okay, and also as it happened, because I'm sure, there were Jakes out there in the country, they heard about what was going on. They fled, man. They fled. Hey, armies march. The word goes around, they bring these big ass armies over here, bro. We gotta pack our shit and leave. That's what happened in the ancient times, man. All right, that's what happened in the ancient times, and we were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why these nations, they reverence certain celebrities that they have, like Bruce Lee, Eminem. These people make these nations think that they have some type of talent, but what they don't understand is that they, through their father's line, they go back to our people. So they are just an extension of our glory, of our talent, of us being the salt of the earth. Okay, and without these people, these heathens would not have any type of pride to them, because hey, you go with Moab. What is he known for? The martial arts. But who made that popular? Bruce Lee, the Israelite foreigners that were scattered amongst them. Why do you have an influx of so-called white people that's in the rap? Now, I'm not saying that these are heathens. They got that talent. You got Mac Miller. You got what's this other dude? You got a handful of so-called, artists, so-called white rappers, that are Israelite foreigners, but with that, it also comes to people that want to get into it, but they don't got the salt, man. They do not got the salt. You know? They don't got the salt. Why? Because they're Edomites, man, and they don't got no flavor. They don't got no salt, and they try to rap. Get off stage, man. Throw shoes at him. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, continuing on, with verse 63. All right, or it's like in verse 64, where it says, "And Yahweh Hashem Yahshua shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other." That is one of the supporting scriptures with the Israelite foreigners, man. All right, because these things that took place, thousands of years ago, all right, 2,000 years ago, with the diaspora. All right, then even before that, the Maccabees, you had Jake going into, England being Hellenized. Not English, it's like Helen, Greeks being Hellenized. Italy, our people were everywhere, man. And guess what happened? They laid down with the heathen women, and generation after generation, they came out looking like the heathens, man. All right, and you got these carnal ass jakes that want to make everything about skin color, man. Want to make everything about skin color. Yeah, I understand your resentment against the so-called white man, against these All right. All right. Shalom, Akim. I don't know how this is gonna play out. On the YouTube. But my phone overheated. So I'm coming back at it again with the part two. I had to go, run to the car, put the phone on the AC, man. But here we are back at it again through the Spirit. All right. Now we were at Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. Okay, and the reason why the Spirit, I'm going through this. All right, because it was prophesied that we would that we would go down. Okay, that was prophesied. All right. So guess what else is prophesied? The downfall of this devil as well, man. Okay. So bringing it out. We're gonna continue on, till we hit verse 68. Okay, so Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 64, it reads, "And Yahweh Shah shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone." And I was finishing, with a point. I'm saying, Jay, you can't look at people that don't look like you. That's obvious. That they line goes back to Israel, all right, and think you like superior over them, because at the end of the day, spiritually, they're you. All right, we're like, if you spiritually look at our spirits, we're all the same. So that carnal, judging by the outward appearance, all right, that's out. And you gotta fast that out. Do what you gotta do, man. Because hey, Lord might present something to you, and if you judge it carnally, guess what? You're gonna get spanked by Him. All right. Let me just back up a little bit, get myself in a good frame. All right, but anyways, verse 65. All right, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. All right, and the reason why, because we are subject unto payments, man. We have no rest in Babylon, man. We have no rest. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, study whatever. If you don't be a house slave, basically. You got to work the plantations and the warehouses, right? But even then, if you do, go to school and whatnot, they'll put you in some office job, man. It's gonna be a glass thing. You're not gonna go, up in there. Now you do have the Jakes that are the exceptions. They go and they, become their own bosses, and they, what I'm saying, prosper here in Babylon. But guess what, man? You're prospering in a kingdom that is set up for your destruction, is set up for your punishment. And even though you may be under that illusion that you're living good, guess what, man? You're gonna fall, because this devil's about to put that press that off switch on this place, and it's gonna be unto you as unto the average Joe Jake that was working in a warehouse, man, that's working in McDonald's. Y'all gonna be in the same predicament, man. All right, that Section 80, whatever, you will be in the same predicament. And all that pride you have, you looking down on your own people, because you don't recognize that we got the curses upon us. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You're gonna be in the same trick bag, man. We're gonna bring that out too, Lord willing. All right, verse 65. Oh, suck it. Verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee for a trembling heart and failing eyes, sorrow of the mind. Depression rates at an all-time high with Jake, man. Amongst Israel, man. Depression rates is at an all-time high, because this is the land of our captivity. This is the land of our punishment. All right, rise and depart. This is not thy rest. Okay, for it shall be, because it is polluted. I think I'm gonna bring out that precept, man. I'm not gonna quote it. I don't want to butcher it. Just bring it out, man. Book of Micah. Yep, right there. Man. All right, the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10. It reads, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." Okay, that sore destruction is talking about the ICBM missiles that's getting ready to hit this place, man. That's what that's talking about. All right. So going back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, we were at 66, And it reads, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. Okay? Thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. This is the valley of the shadow of death, man. All right? Hey, police officer can pull up right now. He could really, shoot me down. You know? You get pulled over by a cop. You don't know if it's going to be the last time, man. You don't know. I might be a crazy ass Edomite cop, mistake you for somebody else, or just that spirit is on him, and he just go and shoot your ass, man. That's what happens with these Jakes. Jake in his business, you know what I'm saying? He gets pulled over by some crazy ass Edomite cop. He shoots his ass, man. And from the southern kingdom to the northern kingdom, we all go through it, man. You got cases where you got Gadite people. You know what I'm saying? They so-called Native Americans, they getting hit, man, by these cops. They getting shot. These devils get off on shooting you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. They get euphoric, man. And they got that what's it called? That little fraternity in the police precincts, in the police departments. The blue fraternity. Name eludes me right now. But they help each other get away with this shit, man. They help each other get away with the murder of our people. All right. That's why it is written in the book of let me see, Zechariah. We're gonna go to Zechariah. Yup, it's gonna be right here. Yeah, right there. Zechariah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's in where it says, he shall hold himself not guilty. All right. Now, hopefully, I can find it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, just try to bring out a precept and then it's not there, man. Let me just try to find it. All right. Dang, I thought I knew where it was. All right, but it's cool, man. Oh, there it is. Still, like for the moment, I thought it was in the previous the earlier chapters. But it's the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. I had it mixed up for 5. Which really 5 is where it goes into the chariots. All right, but anyways, the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. All right, and it reads, or matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 4. All right, and it reads, "Thus says Yahweh Shemi Hawashi, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty." Now, the flock of the slaughter is talking about us, man. All right, it's talking about the children of Israel. It says, "Whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty." All right, so with the transgressions that our people have committed, that they have to answer for in this time around, their judgment comes down that they have to be shot down by Esau. They're not going to hold themselves guilty, man. They'll find whatever loophole to get Esau off the hook. Okay, but when it comes to our people, oh, we're held to a crazy ass high standard, man. We are held to a super crazy. They throw the whole book at us, man. They throw the whole book at us. All right, but that further manifests in scripture. Where it says, our people are in the prison houses. Roughly paraphrased, our people are hid in the prison houses. That goes into the prison complex. All right, this devil even makes money of us being in the prisons, man. If you look at the Constitution, I believe it's somewhere written that you basically become a slave if you get locked up, if you get institutionalized, if you get locked up, you're basically a slave again, man. You're owned by the government again. You know, and therefore you're now subject unto free labor, with little to no pay, man. That's why you hear about them, being paid pennies a day and shit like that, man, because they basically slaves. You know, this devil never did away with slavery, man. You just gotta wake up. All right. So going back to we brought that out in Zechariah chapter 11. Okay. So going back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 67, and reason in the morning thou shalt say, with Yahweh it were even, and at that even thou shalt say, with Yahweh it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And this represents, going into the hardcore, when these curses were at their peak, man. You know, we were getting so jacked up that we just wanted the days to just go by and by and by. That's how messed up, we were getting, man. I mean, sorry, that's how messed up we got at the hands of these devils, man. Verse 68. And Yahweh Shema Shah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. All right, now, brothers heard this a million times, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers know the breakdown. This is talking about, this Egypt is talking about Babylon, man. It's not talking about the land in Egypt. It's talking about Babylon, America. All right, with ships, transatlantic slave trade. Hey, you had the Latin tribes, they were being shipped out to Europe as well, man. You got a lot of people that's in Europe that go back to the Latin tribes, the so-called Native Americans. All right. So, continuing on, and it reads, all right, by the way, whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, bondmen and bondwomen. No man shall buy you. All right, so that's going into all the transactions that were made, the human transactions that were made, that where our people were being sold, as cattle, man, and our people were being sold as property, men, women, and children. All right, it says, and no man shall buy you, because guess what? We no mortal man, all right, is gonna redeem us out of this. Ain't no Martin Luther King, no Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? No Cesar Chavez, no what's that dude named Che Guevara? What's that other dude named? It's the General Zapatas, from Issachar land, right? None of those is gonna save us, man. They all, they came, they had their thing, and then they left. They got put to death, okay, because they're not, they're not supposed to save us, man. It's Hamashiach Yahushai that's supposed to save us, and that's the Omen Omen. That's what his name means. He is the deliverer of who? The children of Israel, man. All right, he is the deliverer of the children of Israel. Okay, but we brought out Deuteronomy 28, because it was a prophecy as to how we were going to go down as a people. All right, so if we went down as a people, as a nation, All right, these are the blasphemies that this devil rises up against the Lord, man. Shit, man. It's like if the mic was muted this whole time. Hey, man, this thing will come with practice, man. All right, it's gonna come with practice. You know, continuing on, and it reads, all right, and thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me, and I have heard them. Thus said Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, when the whole earth receiveth, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make thee desolate, and thou, let me see, and thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Yahweh, of Yasharallah, Israel, because it was desolate. So will I do unto thee, and thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. These devils will bow down and reverence the Lord, man. They will bow down. All right? Dang, man, I hope the live stream wasn't muted this whole time, man. I hope the live stream wasn't muted this whole time, man. You know? But continuing on, and it reads, all right, let me see. That really took me out of place. But how's this place gonna be destroyed, man? All right, it's gonna be through the plagues that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is sending upon the earth. Okay, now we're gonna get into Jacob's trouble. All right, because that's gonna be what's gonna destroy this kingdom. See, this devil, you know, we're gonna start, you know, the foundation. We're gonna go back to Psalms chapter 9 and 15. Okay, because ultimately, a lot of the hell that's getting ready to break loose is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai putting the spirit on this devil to conduct these things. All right, to execute, you know, he's putting the spirit on this devil to execute these agendas. All right, so we're gonna start with the book of Proverbs chapter 21. All right, I'm gonna start with the book of Proverbs chapter 21, where it reads, "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." So that's the first verse. All right, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Meaning that these rulers, all right, and all these people that's in the upper echelons, guess what, man? They are ruled, all right, they are ultimately controlled by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, yeah, you know these devils, they conduct satanic rituals. They go to Satan, you know, they go to spiritual demon Satan for counsel and what the next move is going to be, and spiritual demon Satan, you know, he requires his blood sacrifices. That's why you got all these killings going on, you know, all these shootings, all these calamities, you know, these freak accidents. You know what I'm saying? That's just the sacrifice that this devil and the witchcraft that this devil does on the left hand side. But at the end of the day, even though he does these things, what he don't understand is that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai controls Satan, man. He controls Satan. All right, he controls him. Okay, and he tells Satan to tell Esau what to do. Here it is, Esau thinking, you know, he acting on his own accord in some type of rebellion against the Lord. Hey, he was programmed to be that way, man. You know, it's gonna be like that that clip from that radio broadcaster. Hey, congratulations, you played yourself. That's what Satan's gonna hit Esau Edom in the very last minute. We about to break into them bunkers. Lord willing, we're of the elect. We get that spiritual power. We about to break into them bunkers, man. Hey, Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? We those men. That's what Satan's gonna hit them with, man. All right. So continuing on. All right. So we brought that out. Okay. So you know these plagues. All right. Going to the book of Psalms, chapter 9. Dang, these people keep on flying out, man. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Psalms. Man, I'm gonna either need to tape this together or get a new sword. I'm leaning on the first. All right, so you know, getting again, you know, the book of Psalms, chapter 9, verse 15, and it reads, "And the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, and the net which they hid is their own foot taken. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executed, and the wicked is snared in the work of his own hands." Hagayan Shalah, meaning he's trapped in the work of his own hands because he's bringing about these calamities that are going to come to pass. All right, but it's really Yahweh Bashim Yahushai doing that, you know, putting that deception into him, having his pride deceive him, so he could, go forth and act out what was prophesied to do, because he's indirectly, all right, he's indirectly bringing about the plagues that's going to fall upon the earth, man. All right, the majority of the plagues is going to fall upon the earth. Esau is going to bring them out. All right, he's bringing them out. At the end of the day, all he is like a throwaway gun. You get it, you do it for what you about to use it for, and then you just throw it away. All right, so we're gonna get the book of Judges chapter 15. I don't know why the stream was muted on the second go, man. That was very that was very, that's very frustrating, man. Devil's over here messing with the stream, man. But anyway, Salaki Akim, the stream, was muted in the first half. I didn't notice that until later on, man. But anyways, book of Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 5. Behold, saith Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right, and that's what these devils, that's what he's bringing forth to a certain extent. All right, with all these food plants being destroyed, all right, martial law being passed, that's the sword. Okay, that martial law being passed, Egyptian against Egyptian. All right, what else does it say? Death and destruction. You know what I'm saying? Hey, all these diseases that's about to be about, man. You know what I'm saying? All these diseases that's about to be, running like wildfire, man, because of the dead in the streets. All right, and then destruction, going into all these natural calamities. All right, all these, and ultimately going up to the ICBM thermonuclear missile, man. That's what's going to happen. All right, and why? For the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, so the hurtful works of Yahweh, the hurtful works of this world that's primarily done by Esau Edom are fulfilled. Meaning Yahweh has had enough of it, man. He's gonna suffer it no more, man. All right, he's up to here with it. He like, nah. Put the spirit in him to, declare their new world order. Get these prophecies rolling. All right, because I'm about to send my son. That's what's going on, man. Okay. Verse 7. Therefore said Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And that's what we're doing in the spirit, man. All right, working out our own salvation. Okay, that's what we are doing. All right, we can get the precept right here in Isaiah chapter 19. All right, let's see right quick. Man, just give me a quick little chance, get this little page. All right, so the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 19, and it reads, in that day there shall be an altar to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai in the midst of the land of Egypt, and that altar represents us. All right, that altar represents us in this truth. Okay, and the pillar at the border thereof to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. All right, that represents us going out to the highways and hedges. Altar is a place of sacrifice, and the highways and hedges is that place of sacrifice, man. The highways and hedges is that place of sacrifice where we go and we make our bodies a living sacrifice. Okay, we making our shekels in heaven, But what are we doing as we make our bodies a living sacrifice? All right, it's going to continue on, verse 20, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai of hosts in the land of Egypt. All right, which this is talking about Babylon. It's talking about America. And it says, and it shall be, and for they shall cry unto Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai because of the oppressors. And who's crying? Us. Okay, we're crying. As it is written, the souls of the just complain continually. We just brought that out. All right, and Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai And he shall send, yeah, Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall send them a savior and a great one. We're talking about Yahushua. All right? And the reason he shall deliver them. So Lord willing, we're of that number. We're of the elect. We be delivered out of these plagues, man. Okay? Because real soon it's gonna be the same predicament with all these people, man. All right, let's go into the emptiness of the land. Now let's go into how, real soon everybody's gonna be in the same predicament. You're gonna have, all these top entrepreneur jakes, and not just jakes, these heathens too. That's on the, lower middle echelons. That's not really, they're not essential to the new, dominion that this stuff was coming out with, And at the end of the day, they're gonna be used, the ones that are, are ultimately gonna be used to perpetuate the charagma, which is the MOTB. All right. So continuing on, and it reads. All right, behold, the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, verse 1. Behold, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. All right, and the reason why is because it's going to be upwards. Okay, people are going to be going from place to place, trying to find food, trying to survive. We're going to be living as pilgrims, man. Hey, the scripture says even we're going to be living as pilgrims. Whoever is allotted to do so. We're going to be living as pilgrims, man. All right? And continuing on in the reason, it shall be as with the people. It's a key point. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest. As with the servant, so with his master. As with the maid, so with their mistress. As with the buyer, so with the seller. And as with the lender, so with the borrower. As the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. Now, this is the description of the two people that are behind finances, the financial transactions. People pay tithes unto the priest and give sacrifices unto the priest. All right. The servant, the master gives his servant a wage. Okay. The taker of usury gives the giver of usury money. And this says that they're all going to be in the same predicament, man. Everybody's going to be in the same predicament. All these, high, these, I don't want to say high level, but these, supposed successful and prospering jakes, that's kind of like out the way. They're just doing their own thing, became their own little boss, went to a trade school, went to some college, and now they, making money. They became real estate investors, invested in crypto, invested in Wall Street, whatever it is, man. All that is coming to naught because Esau turned off the switch on that, man. Esau turned off the switch on that. Now you in the same predicament as somebody who works in a fucking McDonald's, man. And here it is, a lot of these people that prosper and was about that mammon, a lot of these people which are of our people, narrowly looking down upon us, like, oh, look at these bum ass niggas, man. Look at these bums, in the street corner wasting away their lives, right? They narrowly look upon us. Guess what? They're gonna be in the same predicament as somebody who work in McDonald's. So really, they ain't a trick bag, man. They're gonna be eating their kids. They're gonna be caught out there with all them plagues, man. All right. They're gonna be as a leaf in a fucking tornado, in a fucking hurricane, man. You know what I'm saying? So continuing on, and it reads, all right, and the land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua hath spoken his word. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna jump down to the book of jumping down to verse 7, where it says, "And the new wine mourneth divine languages, and all the merry-hearted do sigh." All right, why? Because all these people that was out here bullshitting, all right, guess what, man? They gonna be crying. They're gonna be sighing. All right, it says the new wine. What does it say? The new wine mourneth. With a new wine, there's a new wine in the streets. Crying out for answers. They're crying out to, why are things happening? Why are we about to go into World War III? Why is the economy collapsing? Why is the cryptocurrency market crashing? Why is Wall Street buying up all the houses out there in Texas? Because that market is about to collapse, man. The stock market is about to collapse. All right, and they're just trying to make sure that they are established when that happens. That's the very wealthy, man. All right, very wealthy. Now, at the end of the day, those that stay, those among them that stay here in Babylon, they're gonna be burnt up with the missiles, man. It's not gonna matter. All right, it's not gonna matter. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, "The mirth of the tabret ceaseth, and the noise of them that rejoiceth endeth, and the joy of the heart ceaseth. And they shall not drink wine with the strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it." Meaning, because ultimately, man, all that turn up shit, all the partying, all that BS is gonna be out the window, man. All right, and also too, how it says, "The strong drink shall be bitter unto them that drink it." Because hey, I'll put it to you like this: in order to drink that strong drink, man, drink the hard liquors. You gotta be on a full stomach. This is just further describing that famine. All right, you gotta be on a full stomach to drink that hard liquor. You gotta be well hydrated because that shit will eat away at you. This is one movie where these soldiers got stranded on an island. I believe it was sometime in World War II. They got stranded on this island. And they was eating nothing but wine. Drinking nothing but wine. And that shit was drying them the hell up, man. That shit was drying them the hell up, and a lot of them died of thirst. That's how it's gonna be for you people out here in Jacob's trouble, man. That don't get right. All right. Continuing on, and it reads. All right, hold on. Let me see. All right, and they shall not drink wine with the song, and strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. All right, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. All right, the city of confusion is broken down. All right, what is the city of confusion? Babylon. Broken down, man. All right, broken down. All these plagues that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is hitting this place with, man. And it's ultimately going to end with the ICBM missiles. All right, which we're going to get that. Get a couple other precepts, and then we're going to wrap it up, man. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18. We're gonna bring it out, man. All right, so book of Revelations, chapter 18, verse 2, and it reads, "And he cried mightily with a strong voice, Babylon, the great city, is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird." All right, and the reason why is because of the end result after the nukes hit this place. Okay, after the nuclear missiles hit this place. All right, the arrows that the Medes are going to be shooting at this place. The Medes represent the modern day Persians. All right, it's written in the scriptures. The Medes represent the modern day Persians, man. They gonna hit this place, man. All right, with they nukes. All right. And not just the Medes, not the Persians. The Medes represent the Russians. All right, so like, I got to correct that. The Medes represent the modern day Russians, and they gonna hit this place with their nukes. All right, and it's not just gonna be them; it's gonna be the beast. The NATO and the EU, the European Union. All right, it's gonna come a point in time when they're gonna turn against this place, and they're gonna shoot their nukes over here as well, man. And it's gonna be Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that's gonna put the spirit on them, because ultimately they're facing all the backlash with everything that's going on. You think gas prices are high here? Shit, go over there, man. Everybody's riding bikes and walking because they can't even drive anymore. You know what I'm saying? Gas prices are just that high. $10 a gallon, $8 a gallon. So continuing on, and it reads, so they're gonna be the ones that they also gonna be sending nukes over here. Okay, so dealing with continuing on. All right, verse 3: "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." All right, so breaking it down. All right, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right, that's going into how all these nations model themselves after Esau, Edom. Okay, they all model themselves after this devil here in Babylon. You look at an example. You had Moab. He used to have his garments and his architecture to his buildings. They used to have their traditions on how they conduct buildings. Now everything's modeled after Esau, Edom. Now instead of their garments, they got suits and ties. Instead of their own distinct architecture to their buildings, they got skyscrapers. All right, that's and also too, all these different branches of fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, you name it. Just restaurants that went global. They got it over there too, man. All right, they got it all over the world that drinks of this wine. All right, that drinks out of this Western philosophy. That's the wine. The Western philosophy is the wine. Okay. So continuing on, and it reads, all right, and the merchants of the earth, the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Now, the merchants of the earth waxing rich through the abundance of her delicacies is going into all the imports. All right, all the imports. You got cars that's foreign, man. All right, like the Kia. That's from, if I'm not mistaken, that's from Korea. You know, cars like that. You know, yeah, you got a Chevy, you got a Ford. You know, which these cars are made abroad anyways. You know, you got an Edomite staring out that fucking Ford. He like, what the fuck is he doing? Man, you know what I'm doing. They know what I'm doing spiritually, man. You know, but continuing on. All right, and it reads, all right, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. It's like are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye may be not partakers of her sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues." All right, now this is another thing too. You got a doctrine out there that says that, you know, if you want to be saved, you gotta flee Babylon and get a flight to Israel. All right, which that's you know, that's false doctrine. That's you know, an example of men leading the sheep astray. You know, the blind lead the blind. They fall into a ditch because guess what, man? Israel's going to become a war zone soon, man. The land of Israel is going to become a war zone. You know, and I've heard elders and apostles say that it's going to get hit with the missiles too, man. All right, it's going to get hit with the missiles too, but it's going to be restored when the kingdom of heaven comes down. All right. But anyways, you know, it says, "Come out of her, my people, all right, that ye may be not partakers of her sin," and that's going into, you know, coming out of her spiritually. All right, coming out of her spiritually. You know, not you know, literally, you know, getting on a flight and then leaving, because then why else would there be salvation? You know, why else would it be 144,000? All right, or how I put it to you, you know, the 1/3 remnant being delivered out of Babylon. You know, why else? You know, as this place gets destroyed, you're gonna have the elect, you know, being delivered. You know, according to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. You know, if we're supposed to leave, why else would that be there? You know, these are men that are not studied up in the scriptures. They ultimately don't. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai is not dwelling with them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, don't follow these people, man. Don't follow these groups that teach that. All right, make you get a one-way ticket to Israel, and then whatever calamity falls upon there, you're gonna be sitting there stumped at the end of the day, man. All right. But anyways, continuing on, and it reads, "Come out of her, my people, that ye may be not partakers of her sins." We're not out here committing iniquity, man. All right, we're doing the best we can to keep the laws and commandments to the best of our iniquity. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, "Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double." All right, and that's going back to Lamentations chapter 4, where it talks about the cup is also going to be passed through unto you. All right, but it's not just going to be passed through unto you, you know, the same cup that we had to drink. It's going to be double. All right, you devils are going into slavery for double, and you're going to receive double hardcore slavery, hardcore punishments in righteousness. All right, that you put upon us. Okay, but it ain't gonna be no buck breaking in the kingdom. Ain't gonna be no, you know, sodomite. You know, none of that wicked shit. You know, we're not gonna be, you know, popping and going into their wives. You know, that they're gonna have. No. All right, you're gonna be subject to our imagination, man. Okay, you're gonna be subject to our imagination, and we have very vivid imaginations. We meditate terrors on you elites, man. We meditate terrors upon you devils, man. And it's gonna be even worse than what you did to us, man. That's a fact. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, and that you receive not her plagues. Okay, because guess what? The elect is going to be delivered. All right, they're going to be delivered. They're not going to receive of her plagues. Okay, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. All right, reward her even as she rewarded you, double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. All right, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. All right, and that is a reflection of the mindset that these devils have, that they could just, you know, continue on forever and prosper forever. All right, and that's written in the book of Psalms chapter 49 and 11, where it says, "And their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever." All right, that's talking about them. Their houses shall continue forever. That fifth element pipe dream that they have, you know, that they're just gonna continue on forever. be in the future. They're gonna go, and colonize and inhabit different planets. That's just a pipe dream, man. They're not gonna live that, man. All right, they don't have that. The transhumanism. They're gonna be part machines, and they're gonna be able to do things that the regular man is not able to do. That's another fantasy, man, and that's just another deception that Yahweh Hashem Shai has put upon their heads. That's another vain imagination that Yahweh Hashem Shai has put upon their heads, and it's not going to be lived out. Okay, it's not going to be lived out. They are going to be disappointed. The scripture says he disappointed their enterprise, roughly paraphrased. It's written somewhere in the book of Job. Okay, so. Continuing on. All right. Yeah. Putting this work in, man. All right. So continuing on, and it reads, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, who judges her." Okay. And she and that fire is going to by ways of the ICBM thermonuclear missiles that's going to hit this place. All right. That's what it's going to be hit with, man. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, and standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, "Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come." In 1 hour this place will be destroyed, man. All right? In 1 hour this place will be destroyed. Yeah, you got a crowd that's eating like mad dogging. You know what I'm saying? But yo, in 1 hour, this place will be destroyed. Why will it be destroyed in 1 hour? All right, because look at the capabilities of the enemies of Babylon, man. The hypersonic intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. All right, that got all these warheads that could wipe out the state of Texas, and they got a whole bunch of those made, man. All right, they got a whole bunch of those made. Yeah, these devils is mad now. Hey, it is what it is, man. You prophesying their downfall. All right. Hey, the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16. "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals of fire." It's like if they bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. All right, and that waster to destroy, that instrument, all right, that's created by the smith. The smith represents these different top intellectual Edomites that came up, with the atomic bomb and these nuclear capabilities, man. All right, these different Edomites are the smiths. They're just the spirit. Lord put it in them. Basically, Lord put it in them to find out how to make such a destructive weapon, such a destructive instrument. All right, and that's going to be their destruction, man. All right, they're the intercontinental ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles that they say they're powered. They're controlled by a computer. You can actually control the shit and guide where the shit flies. Where the missile flies. And it basically, the reason why it's set up like that is to go through all the is basically to go through all the defenses that this place has set up, man. All right, that's why it's set up like that. Okay, that's why it says they shall be leaping over walls. Book of Joel, it reads they shall be leaping over walls. All right, so we're gonna go to the book of Isaiah chapter 66. All right, verse 15, and it reads, "For behold, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai will come with fire." All right, now in the midst of these missiles coming down to destroy this place, the Lord is going to make a second coming. All right, and he's going to deliver the elect of the children of Israel, which is written of in the book of Revelations chapter 11. We're going to get that. All right, written of in the book of Revelations chapter 11, and they're referenced as the two witnesses, which represent the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, each witness being the different kingdom. But we're in these latter times, we're going to be as one. All right, the stick shall be joined anew. The stick of Judah and the stick of Ephraim shall be put back together, man. All right. So the book of Revelations chapter 11, verse 11, and it reads, "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. And great fear fell upon them which saw them." Okay, so hey, the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai entered into them. Who? The two witnesses, man. All right, and they stood upon their feet, meaning they came out to teach. They came out to teach, push this word through the sit downs. All right, as Scripture says, the righteous stand bold as lions. Okay, and it reads, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, meaning these devils, hey, we was pushing downtown. We were pushing downtown. How these corporations in their top suites, looking down at brothers, man, they're like, oh shit, that's the beginning of our downfall. I believe one of the Bush presidents, he called us the prophets of doom. You know what I'm saying? They refer to us now. They got, you got different documentaries, where they call the prophets of doom. These other dudes that existed in modern history. These are all just white men, that existed in modern history. No, man, the real prophets is right here, man. All right, because Yahweh Shem Yahushai revealed the secrets to the servants of the prophet. None of those men could break down these scriptures, man. None of those men could break down these scriptures. All right, except for us, starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. All right. So continuing on, and it reads. All right, and it's like verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying, "Come up hither." And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. And that's talking about the chariots. All right, the cloud is talking about the chariots, the so-called UFOs. All right, that's gonna come and you beam me up, Scotty. The elect is gonna be beamed up into the chariots, man. All right, the spirits is gonna be beamed up into the chariots. So willing we're of that number, we get delivered out of here, man. All right, we get delivered out of here. Okay, and while that's happening, while that's playing out, guess what? The nukes is gonna be hitting this place. Okay, the nuclear missiles is gonna be hitting this place, and the chariots they're gonna be shooting laser beams into this place as well, man. That's why we're gonna bring it out, going back to Isaiah chapter 66. I know I kind of went into it, abruptly, kind of felt choppy, but now we eased into it, man. All right. So book of Isaiah chapter 66 verse 15. For behold, Yahweh Shem Yahushua will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire. You see, he's coming down with his chariots, the so-called UFOs, as a whirlwind, meaning a storm, man. Think about it, blitzkrieg, man. The Nazis had that, that strategy. They just hit a city with everything, man. They hit a city with everything. They bomb the city, and they go and they move into the city, with the fucking tanks and the infantry, and then they in the midst of that, they setting dudes down in paratroops, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, it's gonna be a similar thing, but it's gonna be heavenly, man. All right, it's gonna be heavenly. It's gonna come down as a whirlwind, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're gonna put the spirit in Yahushai. He's not gonna meet you as a man. Okay. We're gonna continue on saying, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall be many. Okay, so that's what that's what what's gonna happen. The slain of Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall be many. All right, meaning there's gonna be so many. If you're not of the elect, all right, if you're not of that 1/3 remnant that's gonna be delivered out of this kingdom, you're gonna perish, man. All right, you are going to perish. That's how serious this thing is, man. All right, that's how serious this thing is. Hey, why do you think you got a whole bunch of young men out here in the streets teaching, man? The scripture says, "He that loseth his life shall save it, and he that saveth his life shall lose it." Meaning, if you choose anything, any this kingdom over the Lord, you will perish, man. All right, you are going to perish if you don't make your body a living sacrifice. Once you heard this truth and you choose to, well, you know what? I'm gonna continue doing my own thing. I'm gonna keep. You got that lukewarm spirit. You're gonna perish. Okay. Simply put, man, you didn't put your body a living sacrifice. You didn't make your body a living sacrifice. You're not out here, working out your salvation. All right. And ultimately, it's about predestination, because the elect is gonna have it in them to come out here and prophesy. Okay, they're gonna have that switch that's gonna say, "Nah, fuck this. I'm gonna come out here." All right. So with that, we're gonna go with the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and 7. With that, we're gonna close out. As a matter of fact, since we already touched upon the salvation, we're we're going to go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and 9. All right. So the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 7. And it reads, Then I answered and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? All right, so the parting asunder of the times represents the eras of rulership, the eras of dominion between, and he said, when will it be the end of the first? Alluding to, Esau being the firstborn, and the beginning of it that followeth, all right, alluding to the beginning of Jacob's rulership. As Jacob, came out after Esau clutching on his heels. Okay, so it reads, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, all right, when Jacob and Esau were firstborn of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. All right, that concludes the camp. You know what I'm saying? That concludes the camp, man. This devil knows that he has but a short time. All right, his time is but short, man. All right, it won't be long before this devil goes down. All right, so with that, we say, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rabbi HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well. All right, this I'm gonna say Shalom. All right, all the Akim out there, man, stay strong. We're almost home. All right, Shalom.